Palmer Luckey is the founder of Oculus. A couple of days ago, he tweeted the Apple headset is so good. And so even though every single year we've all been hoping or wondering that the Apple headset's finally going to come out, in any case, I think this is the closest we've ever gotten to this Apple headset coming out. At this point, the XR industry has been around for a while now. So would Apple entering the space really make a difference in the industry or reshape it, especially at a price point of like $3,000? So let's talk about like what makes Apple so important. I mean, first of all, obviously Apple's a really big company. It's one of the biggest hardware companies, and it's mostly known for having a super user-friendly interface. And what is the thing that keeps people from like entering the VR space the most? It's too complicated, or it's uncomfortable, or maybe they're like overwhelmed. There's like all these different things. And we know for a fact, like Apple is the one company who's like very, very focused on making things super, super user-friendly and making it extremely intuitive. I remember the first time I got like my Apple AirPods, it was like a really magical moment for me. I opened like my AirPods and I had a prompt on my phone that was just like, would you like to pair these AirPods? And I remember that moment, I was like, what the heck? It's like magic. Apple being able to make tech really, really easy to use is going to be a huge, huge thing. But then the question becomes, well, you know, VR and even AR at this point has really been focused on like the gaming industry. And I don't really see Apple entering the gaming industry. So for example, there was this thing called Apple Arcade, and this is the closest thing that Apple has ever had to being in the gaming industry. But it's all very casual games, all mobile games. Basically, I don't think anyone's going to spend $3,000 just to do casual gaming. Like that's not going to happen. I mean, maybe some like super rich people, but like the majority of us are not going to spend that much money just to be able to play some casual games. And so it's like, okay, so who exactly is Apple trying to target? So a lot of filmmakers use Apple products to like edit their videos and do whatever other creative stuff. And so that brings me to my next point. I think maybe these Apple AR glasses or whatever will probably, instead of being for gaming, which is what all the VR industry has basically been for this entire time, I think it's going to be used mostly for productivity and like being able to do work stuff. These displays are what people in the creative industry tend to use. So for example, a 32-inch display for the Pro display, it starts at $5,000. And so if these glasses are going to replace the display, then at that point, like at $3,000 is actually a discount from these display. So I can see it being used in that industry. But then what happens, right? So say we get these glasses and the film industry is starting to use it. Like, what does that mean to the rest? Because Apple's known to be a trendsetter. All the products that Apple has gone into, like the watch, like the smartwatch, after Apple got into it, all of a sudden it got big. The like tablets, like iPad, after Apple got into that, it got big. And so I think that's why everyone's really excited about Apple potentially entering the XR industry, because when Apple enters something, it generally means that it's going to start getting big. The scary part here is if Apple does release this AR glasses this year and it bombs, what does that mean for the industry? Because this is pretty much what everyone's been waiting for, right? Is for Apple to enter the XR industry. And if it bombs, does that mean the entire industry is going to like suffer? Or does that just mean that maybe instead of trying to move towards this, you know, like using VR and AR for all these different use cases, like how Meta was trying to do with their Quest Pro and using it for a business case, but most people actually just ended up using the Quest Pro for gaming anyway. Like, I think maybe if Apple's headset or their AR glasses releases and it actually doesn't do well in the productivity space that we are thinking that it might be used for, maybe that just means that VR/AR just compresses and stays in a niche industry like gaming rather than expanding to all these different other industries. Like, I don't think I'll end up getting it if it's $3,000. That's really, really expensive. Unless, like, okay, I'm trying to think. What would be the reason that I would actually buy these? I guess I would buy them if for $3,000, man, for $3,000, this better replace my entire computer, my TV, my phone. It better replace like literally everything that I have. Like, I should be able to do everything on this for $3,000. That's a really expensive price point. So, like, I don't know, what would it take for you to buy these glasses?